The wilderness didn't mean God had forgotten them. It was where he prepared them to serve others with faith, humility, and purpose. Today's guest is a couple whose story reminds us that purpose is often born in the wilderness and sustained by faith. Adrian and Krys Murray have been married since 2009 and are nearly 17 years of marriage shaped by perseverance, obedience, trusting God through seasons both stable and deeply uncertain. In 2012, they described as the wilderness season, a period that lasted 1,260 days. During that time, they experienced homelessness and profound hardship. Yet even there, God was present, sustaining them and planting a vision that would one day bless countless of young lives. Out of that season came Trinity, teaching, reaching, inspiring, nurturing, igniting today's youth. With no roadmap, few resources, and unwavering faith, they followed the call placed on their hearts. In 2017, that call became action when they incorporated Trinity as a nonprofit. Today, they serve youth and communities through mentoring, coaching, and wellness centered around tennis programs, nurturing the whole person spiritually, mentally, and physically. Their story is living proof that even the hardest seasons can become holy ground. I am honored to welcome Adrian and Krys Murray. Welcome to Emerging with Grace. I'm loving having you here, and I'm glad that you chose this podcast to listen to. Please like, subscribe, and share so that more people can get to know how to emerge with grace. Thank you. Okay, how are you guys?
Delightful. How are you?
Good, good. I want to just jump in, get to know you a little bit. Tell us some about your backstory. How did Trinity come to be? Where did it all start? What was the vision when you started it? Start from the beginning, just go ahead.
Well, I'll start first, and Adrian will just jump right on in. The vision for Trinity is what we would consider to be a download. We actually were in a wilderness season, and for about 3.5 years, my husband and I were actually homeless. We had gone through a time where we lost jobs, and it was back in around 2012 where financial crisis and all of those things were, everything just kind of came down on us at once, and we lost jobs and we lost everything. But it was truly a season of God leading us into the wilderness just to really mold us and protect us and really show us what it is that He had for us, because we got married in 2009 and we had a vision for what we wanted our lives to be, but it was our vision. It was completely leaving God out of it. And God had His own plans for us. So essentially what He had to do was just send us into a refining fire, if you will, and really use that time to mold us. So we humbled ourselves and allowed God to shape us, to shape our vision. And in our wilderness season is where we essentially received the vision for Trinity. It was a download one morning. I'll never forget it. And for me, I just wrote down everything that I heard God saying with the name. All of that came in one download. Trinity, teaching, reaching, inspiring, nurturing, igniting today's youth. What He wanted it to encompass, the three elements of mental, spiritual, physical development, and also incorporating the element of tennis and working with youth to empower youth through a Christ-centered ministry. So we were faithful to that vision. Once we got back on our feet, we determined that, okay, God gave us His vision. We're going to see it through. And that's exactly what we did. We incorporated in 2017. I believe, March 3rd, 2017. And that in itself is a divine date because it turned out to be 3 3s without any without any planning on our end. But we were officially incorporated on March 3rd. And it's just been a God ordained thing to start. I'll let Adrian.
No, you did a good job. No, I mean, the only thing I would add is how God really, even before Trinity began, He had been speaking to us about working with youth and things of that nature, and we really needed to even kind of embrace that aspect of it because neither one of us really had worked with youth before, and that was obviously a big jump, and so. Many times, like throughout our wilderness season, God really revealed not only what He wanted us to do, but how He wanted us to do it. And just the more we spent time with Him, more time we spent in the Word, the more He downloaded exactly what Trinity would be eventually, but then also what Trinity would be even in the here and now. And in that, we had to really be patient because we weren't in a position to really begin Trinity. It was all teaching, it was all downloading. And it got to a point where it was like, okay, God, like we are writing down the notes, we are downloading all this kind of stuff, but when are we going to be, released, so to speak, to see this vision out? But God had other plans, and He wanted us to get a lot of things right first, within us, but then also too to get things right in terms of His plan. So definitely a God ordained thing during our wilderness time, and it kind of is what it is right now.
Okay, let's back up. You got married in 2009.
Mm-hmm.
Where'd you guys meet?
Oh, we met in high school.
Yeah, so we grew up. You did not look prepared for that question. But yeah, funny story. We actually grew up on the same street in the same neighborhood, but we did not connect until he was graduated from college and I was preparing to graduate from college. And we connected on MySpace. Remember MySpace?
Oh my gosh, yeah. I even got my musical background still.
He jumped in the DMs and
We didn't call it DMs, but early post.
Yeah, we exchanged phone numbers and then we got to talking. We didn't even realize we had grew up on the same street. Our families knew each other, connected and everything. We knew each other from the same high school, but did not have an idea that we actually grew up on the same street. We're 2 years apart. And then we talked out one day and we ended up talking for like
9, 10, 11 hours or
I
something.
think it was more than that. And talked every day.
Back in the day, getting to know each other. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So you met in college. As he was graduating, you were leaving. What college?
So I had already, I guess we reconnected in like 06, I think. And I had already graduated. So I went to Tennessee State University. Shout out Big Blue. And I got a job in Virginia and kind of living my life or whatever. And Crystal was at the University of South Carolina in Columbia, where we were from. So I used to go down, I had friends and all that kind of stuff down there anyway. So, I would kind of go back and forth and things of that nature. And then, just kind of one thing led to another because again, back then you had all these friends and top fives and top tens and all that kind of stuff. And then eventually you kind of see some kind of like, cross section of friendships there. So
and our connection was so natural. We found out just from those initial conversations, we had so much in common. We could take things back to our childhood. And even as we're maturing into adults, we found that we had so much in common and that connection, that spark was just instant.
I love that. So you're from Columbia?
Yeah.
Okay. I got family in Columbia.
Okay. So now we might be related to that.
Let me back up a little bit. You meet each other, you get married, you have plans. What were your jobs before Trinity?
So I was out of college. I graduated from University of South Carolina in 2007 with a bachelor's degree in sociology. And so how this all kind of unfolded. So My first job out of college was at VCU. I could not find a job. That was the time where jobs were just, it was a struggle to find a job. And one of my best friends suggested, okay, well, you got a man in Virginia. There's some jobs in Virginia. Maybe you should look in Virginia. I was like, okay, girl. So what I did was I started applying to jobs in Virginia and got interviews, and eventually I got hired on at VCU as a scholarship coordinator in the Office of Financial Aid. So that's what essentially brought me here.
Yeah, and I was a territory sales manager for major tire company. I got that job basically right out of college. And they moved me up here to Virginia. And I've been here ever since.
Do your parents wish you were in South Carolina?
Oh yeah, my mom and dad, absolutely. Oh, absolutely. No, and the funny thing is, I talked to my mom and dad. They were a little different. My mom, if it was up to her, like we would have never left the state. I have two older brothers, and she always wanted her babies to be close to her. And my dad was the exact opposite. Like he wanted us to go and see the world, so to speak, and kind of do us or whatever. So, we try to make that trek home, at least once or twice a year. But yeah, my mom was up to her. Definitely, we'll be doing this interview from her living room if it was up to her.
So she could pick in on you every now and then.
Yeah, absolutely. She was also like, oh, y'all did? Well, we preliminary or something? Y'all did? All right. Okay. All right. Hey.
What's so funny about that is I remember in our early conversations, one of the things that we connected on is that we always saw ourselves out of South Carolina. I remember growing up, kind of making the trip through Virginia eventually to get to a place we were visiting. And I remember telling myself that's going to be my home one day. And it's eventually, that God made it a possibility. He made it come to pass. And so it's always really felt like home for me. It's funny when we go back to South Carolina, like it feels like home where you're from, but it doesn't, that connection there is just not there anymore in terms of, okay, I can see myself kind of living here, living my life out here. It's interesting because we both really felt that way. But a lot of people that we still know, friends back at home we're connected with, they are there, they're settled, and they're happy. And we're like, I couldn't see myself here, just living out life.
Yeah, I'm born in Columbia, but I'm from Virginia. I've been here myself. I've been here for going on 22 years, most of my life. So, this is home for me. My dad and my brother, they went to Hampton, and we would always come up for homecoming or something like that. And I used to
Hampton Jets for Gigas homecomings.
Oh yeah, that's a whole other thing. But I used to love going over there in Virginia, and when I got the opportunity, I actually had to make the decision. When I was working for the tire company, I could either go to Virginia or I could go to Missouri. And needless to say, that was an easy choice for me. So.
Right. You still got the snow.
Right. So that's the thing. Like, I can do some snow, even though, this snow that's been going on lately is a whole nother story.
It's a different,
that's a whole nother thing. But nah, I think both of us, we loved Virginia for, different reasons. And this is home for us.
So you get married in 2009 and you're at a tire company and you're at VCU and life is looking excellent. You know where you want to be, you know what you want to do, and then the bottom fell out.
Let me go back a little bit. And I don't want to belabor the point, but let me go back just a tiny bit. So 2008, okay, that's when stuff started really kind of happening for us, even before we got married. So I've been working at this company for about 4 years, 4.5 years, and lo and behold, I get laid off because there was a merger and all that kind of stuff or whatever, and I get let go. And now we're trying to figure out, okay, because we had plans. I had already proposed to her earlier that year, literally probably 3 or 4 months early. I had proposed to her, so we already making plans on, where we're gonna get married, all that kind of cool stuff, right? So now I need a job, and I saved up all this money for us to have this nice wedding, to get her the wedding of her dreams and all that kind of stuff. And next thing you know, I had to use that money for us to live on, for us to survive. And now she's still working at VCU, and I'm looking for jobs, and I'm like, man, I gotta do something. And nothing was working out until February of 2009, where God came through with one of, if not the biggest blessings of our entire marriage. So, long story short, we hear this radio ad for a dream wedding contest. And for me, I'm like, okay, we've been trying to get married anyway. What the heck, right? Let's go ahead and fill all this stuff out. Now, at the time, I found another job. It was full-time with part-time pay kind of thing, working in insurance. And I'm like, okay, we gotta do something. So lo and behold, I'm filling out this information. We put all our stuff together, kind of this big folder type of thing, portfolio of our entire relationship. And lo and behold, where I'm working was right beside the place I needed to turn all that stuff in. I'm like, okay. So I turn all this stuff in, right? This is on a Monday. They're supposed to announce the winners on Saturday. This is Monday. Okay. So I turn all that stuff in, pray, you say, okay, God, if it's your will, let it be done. If not, I know you're going to find a way. So Tuesday go around, praying. Wednesday come around, praying. Thursday come around, praying. I get a call, and I get a call from one of the sponsors, and they're just randomly say, hey, hello, is this Mr. Murray? I said, yeah. They said, well, this is such and such from the Dream Wedding. We just have a couple of questions we want to ask you. I said, okay, well, is something wrong with my application or what's going on? They said, well, we just wanted to know, by chance, if you were to win, would you all be ready to get married soon? I told them, I was like, I can get married tomorrow if we win. I'm not even playing, right? So they said, okay, good. Good to hear, right? Now, that's on Thursday. Friday comes. Supposed to get some type of call to say, hey, you guys are in the running for it. Meet us at the Science Museum because that's where we're going to announce the winner. Supposed to get that call, I think, on Friday. Do we get a call? No, we do not. So we're kind of like, okay, well, something's going on. So let's just maybe they're going to call people back. So we wake up on Saturday. We get a call Saturday morning? No. Saturday afternoon? No. Saturday evening? No. I'm sorry, this was to make the call on Sunday. Sorry. We don't get any call on Saturday. And we are literally devastated. Like, God, I thought this was our thing. It just seemed like everything was working out. Like, come on, right? And then so we're like, you know what? And we had our clothes laid out. We were ready. Like we knew what we was gonna wear. We were just ready to win. This is how God does too, because he always rewards your faith. And so we had the faith. It just didn't happen when we thought, right? So Saturday goes by, no call, no nothing. And we're like, man, I just knew that was it. So you know what we do? We get up Sunday morning. We rise early Sunday morning, like Jesus, right? We rise early Sunday morning. And then we just praise God. You say, you know what, God, it ain't for you, it ain't for us. That's okay. We still gonna praise you in it.
You got another avenue open.
So we knew something's gonna happen, right? Because we knew he didn't bring us together for no reason, right?
Right.
And so we praise God, we do all these different things, and we're just chilling. Next thing you know, about 2:00-ish, I get a phone call from the same ladies. And I'm like, hello? It's like, yes, this is Mr. Murray. I say, yes, this is Mr. Murray. You call me. And they're like, well, where are you all? And I'm like, at my house. Where are you? Like, you ask me questions, I'm asking you questions, where are you? And so they're like, no, like, well, we thought you guys would be here at the Science Museum. I was like, no, why on earth would I be at the Science Museum when I didn't get a call? She says, no, when I called you on Thursday, that was in lieu of me calling you on Saturday. I said, ain't this oh, okay, so what you want? Right? So she's like, no, well, you guys are in the running to win, but you have to get down here in order to win. Now, I'm on the phone. Crystal's over here somewhere. I'm telling her, hey, get dressed. I'll explain to you later. I ain't got time to go. I ain't back and forth. Don't worry about it. Get dressed, throw something on, put your face on, and let's go. So I'm getting the call, and we're getting in the car. And the lady is like, okay, you guys are top 3, but you got to be here. And we're like, so I'm go. Now, mind you, again, I'm in Chesterfield. This is in Richmond. I'm taking a pole white. I may or may not be running through tolls and stop signs and all kind of stuff because I'm trying to win this thing,
Yeah,
right?
because at this point they're calling and Adrian's driving. They're like, okay, we're stalling at this point. We have this community Clovia and she's doing the best she can to stall this program. And I'm like, okay, well, we're almost there. So they're like, okay, well, I just have to tell you now, ma'am, that you guys are the winner, but you have to be present to claim the prize or else we're going to give it to the runner up. I said, we're
Mm.
almost there. So we were just getting it down the
Mhm.
way. And we pull up into the Science Museum, not caring where we park.
I think I left the car running. I
Yeah.
really think I left the car running
And
because I just
I remember us running out of the car into the Science Museum, and we go in, they're ushering us in because they already
know. So this isn't on.
like waiting for us. And we go into this big ballroom, and literally it's like a daze. We walk into this big room. There's literally confetti, cameras flashing. It was the absolute most. But
Mm.
we walked into the room as winners. Kind of, I think I put on the same outfit that I had on Friday.
Yeah, because we were ready, right?
So
You you ain't got to do it if you stay ready, right?
Oh,
So
Right.
we were ready, and we walk in, and we're the winners, and we're still trying to catch our breath
yeah.
for this whole thing. So long story short, before all that stuff kind of really happened in '09, God blessed us with a dream wedding
Yeah.
for us to be able to get married, and it was really a dream wedding
Yeah.
for
So
us.
they paid for everything, wedding, clothes, food, everything. I think
That's
at the time it was
beautiful.
valued about $30,000, but it was huge. Beautiful wedding. All of our family, they were able to come up to Virginia. And it was an amazing blessing. And we really connect with that as what kind of just the catalyst, as a catalyst to our faith movement. And
Mm-hmm.
just being able to trust God for what feels like the impossible. And it really, truly started a faith movement.
And little did we know we needed that.
You need it.
Because I'm thinking like, oh, okay, cool. We got our dream wedding. We got everything's gonna be looking up from here. And God is like, nah, G, I got something else for you. So that's when we get into all the bottom starting to really kind of fall out. 'Cause even though we got this
Mm.
huge blessing, I'm still needing a real job.
Yeah.
You know, so
Eventually, for me, I got sick and could not continue my job with VCU. So eventually, I had to leave without another job. Meanwhile, Adrian was working a full time job, earning part time money. And
Mm.
this is a time where it was, I don't, the job market was so terrible. The housing market was crashing. There was so much going on. And it just really was the perfect storm, if you will, that really contributed to us eventually becoming homeless.
Mm. So that took a lot of faith.
mm,
A lot of faith in God, a lot of faith in each other. Um, Adrian, I have to ask you, work with a lot of men where if they cannot take care of their family, they feel like a failure.
I had confidence. I had confidence and belief. And I think my psyche could have been a lot worse if I didn't have God. It would have been so much worse. And let me tell you, I wasn't immune from all the natural feelings that you have when it comes to trying to provide, trying to be the one, the rock, trying not to, show all these different emotions because you're trying to be there for, for your wife and all that kind of stuff. And so no, I mean, I wasn't immune from any of those thoughts or those feelings or any of that nature. But the one thing that really saved me during that time was understanding that God was truly in control. Because winning that wedding after we tried everything we could, and that's the thing how God does too. Like so many times he will strip you of what you rely on so that you can rely on him instead of yourself. And that's what God showed me in, in the process of winning the wedding. And so when, later 2009 hit and 2010 hit and then 2011 hit, and I don't have secure finances at this moment, yeah, I'm struggling. I'm struggling trying to really come to grasp with, okay, God, like I thought things were going to be heading up and they weren't. And then now, like, we're trying to figure out what we're going to do. And now my house is getting foreclosed on, and we're going from, you're going from a townhouse to an apartment. And then I got a job that, again, same thing, full time hours with half time pay, kind of part time pay. and nothing was really working. But my faith was so strong because God really spoke to me, and He really, truly, in a very audible way, that He says, I got this. I understand it's going to be hard. I understand that, but I got this. And it took so much in me to really just let go. Because in all honesty, what I had to learn was control is, in a sense, a man-made construction of something to help us feel like we have some type of power that we really don't have.
It's an
And
illusion.
so what I really tried to really understand was I'm not in control. Now I can prepare, I can plan, I can do all these different things, but I'm not in control.
Mhm.
And letting go of that and giving it to God was so freeing for me. It really was.
Good.
I never forget, like the song that was really big at the time was from Dwayne Wood, and it's Let God, and it was Let Go, Let God. And that really stuck with me, and it resonated so much in that season because that's what I really truly had to do was let go and let God. And it sounded so, before maybe in 2008 or 9, if I heard it, I would be like, oh, it's kind of cliche. But no, it was literally a lifesaver for me.
How did you feel, Krys?
It was hard for me. I was emotionally not handling that season well at all. I was depressed. Um, Going into it all, when the bottom completely fell out, before the bottom fell out, I had experienced a lot of rejection. I still have email records for how many jobs I applied to in that season. The level of rejection was something like I had never experienced before and did not feel like I was prepared to experience. Once I had to leave my job at VCU, I had to make a leap of faith because it eventually got to a point where they were, once you get to a point, you're missing all the days because you're not feeling well and things happen, you start to feel like
See
you're
the writing on
pushed
the
out of the
walls.
door and you have to
Right.
make a very tough decision. And I had to make that type of decision. And I'm the type of person, like, I'm a planner. I determined to myself, I remember saying this in my office one day, I'm not leaving this job without another job. But eventually it got to that point where I had to make that decision, and I did. And I trusted God that, okay, if I leave this, you're going to catch me before I fall. Something's going to work out, something's going to happen. And lo and behold, nothing happened. And what a test of your faith.
Mhm.
Because I, at this point, would be what many would consider a baby Christian. I had only became saved maybe about 3 or 4 years before all of this. Very new to the faith, not really being in a situation where, okay, my faith feeling like it's put under the pressure test, if you will. So I'm looking at God from a very immature lens, like you're my savior, and I'm not supposed to be uncomfortable. These were things that I was holding on to, and I had to learn that we're not guaranteed comfort, and it really shaped how I saw God and really helped to frame my faith through hardship. So through all of that, I was, unfortunately, yes, I was very down, very depressed, scared, and all get out. But God was speaking to me the entire time, downloading things into me because I stayed very close to Him via His Word. I was always in the Word because having that extra time, that's what I chose to do at my time because I'm searching for answers. I'm like, God, you got to speak to me. And He was speaking to us in a lot of different ways. But He was speaking to me in ways that were new to me. And I wasn't mature enough as a believer to fully understand and grasp. So over time, I began to make notes. I'm a note taker, and I document things a lot. So I was documenting, taking notes, and really learning, okay, to trust God and trust my husband. Because we were pretty new in our marriage
Mhm.
through all of this as well. So it's not only a test of how am I trusting God, but how am I trusting this man as my husband to lead me when it's easy to look and say, I need you to do this. You're not providing. What are you doing? What's happening? All of that was there, very much present. But there was always the Holy Spirit's peace at the end of the day, there to kind of ground us. And that's what helped me to get through it.
This is Beautiful. I think you said 1,280 days?
60.
60. 1,260 days. And what I'm hearing is you were both afraid, but neither one of you faltered. Is that okay? Fantastic. So you're out here in the world. I hear there's a little dissatisfaction with Christianity. Am I right?
Yeah. A little bit.
Oh,
A little bit.
oh,
A little bit.
Was there a blaming game?
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. To be 100% transparent and honest, yeah.
hmm
Yeah. And the blaming game actually came from outside forces.
Always.
Yeah. So the main source, in full transparency, was family. Because through all of this season, we're communicating with family that, okay, this is what's going on. And meanwhile, we just finished a study from the book of Job. Everybody's looking at us like, you must be doing something wrong because all of these bad things are happening to you. We were told once upon a time we had roots on us and we need to go see a root doctor.
hmm
Yeah, it was a lot. Because there was so many things were happening and we couldn't get a grasp of it. So as we're communicating to the outside, they're not able to grasp it fully. So they're like trying to figure out every solution as we are. So it was a lot. And a lot of those voices came from the outside that cast doubt on another.
No, I mean it was I don't really think there was really a time where we truly like blamed each other, honestly, because our faith was so strong and we were very present with what was going on, what God was saying. I know it didn't look like on the outside, but it was a lot of noise. I would just classify it as noise coming our way from whether it be people that we knew, people that we had just met. It was a lot of things. And the one thing that I realized during that time was the louder the noise, the bigger your blessing. Because Satan doesn't want you to uncover whatever it is that God wants you to have. And so we had so many times where it was really truly intense when it comes to like, blaming this or this is your fault or you're not doing this, or even giving advice on how to get out, or I mean all these different things. And I'm certain everyone, for the most part, probably came from a good place because they're only, speaking from their own experiences and their own life. But the thing about for us was we were not, in a place where we didn't know what was going on. We had a decent idea about what was going on, what God was doing. We didn't know the full picture of everything, but we understood a little bit more than what people gave us credit for. But that outside noise was so definite at times. But again, like stayed firm with what we knew. We stayed firm with God. We stayed firm with each other.
Yeah, that was something through the wilderness season that never wavered was us. Because God built such a foundation in us spiritually before we even like walked into the wilderness, like had to start sleeping out of our car. God was already downloading the notion of 12. I was in the book of Revelation and I was like, something is with this 1260, with this Revelation scripture that we need to pay attention to. I didn't know what it meant like early on, but God had already downloaded. I was having dreams and visions of it, as getting into the supernatural spiritual stuff. But those elements are present and nothing, it's not something that we can ignore.
Mhm.
And it was also a matter of God speaking into us as well. He did things before that time just to prepare us, but our flesh fought against it because who wants to go through something that's uncomfortable like
Yeah.
that? We were doing everything we could to prevent this, and nothing worked. And it's so funny when we look back and we think about things that we tried back then and then came back to, and then the doors just open so easily.
I love it. So you started seeing the sunshine, or how did you come out?
It was all in God's hands.
Yeah.
I'll let you.
Yeah. So it is always darkest before the dawn, always. And it was the winter of 2015. And the ironic thing is, it reminds me a lot about what's going on now. In all honesty, like there were nights where it was like single digits. And I remember one time we were in our car, stuck in our car. Like our car was an old car that my dad let us borrow. And I remember it was just quit on us. And we were parked. And I remember one time it snowed. And we didn't realize it was gonna snow.
Mm-hmm.
And we go to sleep in the car and we wake up and it's like kind of warm. We're like, well, it's warm in here. Lo and behold, it snowed that night. That whole entire night it snowed. And we were covered in about like 1 or 2 inches of snow. But the ironic thing is that snow actually worked as insulation to help keep us warm from the wind and the elements from the outside. And so, like, things like that, like it always, something like that. So during the time we became friends with different people, different churches and things of that nature. And there was one person, one pastor of a church. She was so gracious to us, and she would allow us to come to the church. She would allow us to use the internet if we needed to, send emails or apply for jobs or whatever. They actually had a shower in their basement. So she would allow us to use that and things of that nature. And then it was one time where we were just going to go back in our car and God spoke to her. And she says, no, I can't have you guys out here anymore. And the church actually had a parsonage that really wasn't being used that much. And she said, well, it's gonna be really bad. Let's just bring you guys in here. And it'll be for maybe a week or so, give or take. And you say, whether it was a week, an hour, a day, it really didn't matter for us. Like as long as we weren't in the car, that was a blessing. And so they let us there, and they were so warm and so welcoming. And then 1 week turned into two, and 2 weeks turned into a month. And lo and behold, we were there long enough to really start, making leeway with a lot of things that we wanted to do, because a lot of people don't realize coming out of homelessness, you really need a home first. And I know a lot of people are. Yeah.
No, I'm disagreeing with you,
Yeah.
but yes, stability. Because what we found ourselves facing was not having an address, our licenses, my license had expired. We're trying to put ourselves out there and get jobs, because before we would volunteer, do odd jobs, get like paid, kind of just like under table cash or things like that. And once we were in that parsonage for a period of time and we could use their address, we were able to secure jobs. So I was able to start working a little bit. Adrian was able to enroll.
Start seminary.
Yeah, start seminary. And little by little, we were able to start doing things to get connected back into society. Now, the thing that people don't realize about homelessness, and this is something that we're very passionate about as well, is there's so many obstacles that are put in front of people. So it really made us aware to a lot of the things that people in those positions have to do, because we were experiencing homelessness very clear-minded, very clear lens, and always looking to, okay, how can we give back? How can we kind of use this experience on the other side? Because we always knew there would be another side. That's another thing that helped to sustain us. We knew it wasn't going to last forever. We always hold on to that hope, so that when we're on the other side of this, not only one, how can we make our lives better and make the best of this experience, but two, how can we help others? Because there's so many people who are like us and maybe even unlike us, it doesn't matter, but still going through this, who need support and advocacy and all of that. But that's a different.
So, I mean, we were able to be there for, I think it was like 3 months or so, and that was such a godsend. And we were able to start saving up a little bit of money and things of that nature. And then, we were able to be able to have enough money to get a down payment on an apartment.
Yeah.
And we moved. I remember, like, we moved into the apartment and we didn't have anything. We just had basically everything that was in our car. But I was like, you know what? This is ours. This is enough. Yeah. This is enough for us. And
even the couple was a blessing.
Oh, yeah.
Because we told them what we were coming out of. At this point, our credit was shot.
Credit shot.
Just back to zero, square one. And they say, you know what? I got a good feeling about you guys. And they just gave us a place. And even that was a step of faith. But we believed God because we knew that this season was just a season. Yeah. And on the other side of that, it was really up to us to really lean in and really take all the lessons that God was putting into us. Trinity. He gave us the vision for Trinity in that season. from day one, we hit the ground trying to get Trinity off the ground while we're working. So we were determined to be faithful to God, to everything that we believed that He had put into us during that season. And we were on go mode. We went back to churches that supported us, shared our testimony when we could, sowed a seed. We were out there telling the world, just about God's goodness during our testimony. We eventually, over time, we recorded a podcast and did a blog, share our story, and still look for opportunities to share. That's why this is such a blessing. But every opportunity we get to share the story, we want to have it out there because we believe that God gave us this for a reason. He allowed us to experience it and carry us through it for a reason. It's not just for us to hold on to, there's no shame in it at all. But we understand that the grace that has been extended to us is meant for us to share that to the world through the word of our testimony.
It builds your muscle.
Mm-hmm.
So, I heard seminary.
Yes.
So, are you a minister?
I'm a minister in the sense that God has given me every resource and every tool to be able to minister the word of God wherever. I'm not a minister in the formal sense in terms of being ordained, even though I am looking for opportunities to do that. But the thing about it, and I always try to be faithful with God puts in me and where He has me as well. And what I find myself is being able to minister to whomever I'm around. And being a teacher now, I find myself ministering so much to my students, and it's an opportunity that I would have never had had God not downloaded into me what He wanted me to do, and really understanding there was a gift there that I never knew that was there in terms of not only ministering but really ministering to different people, because it's not just adults that you talk to and I can minister to, but I find in my job, kids need it and they are craving it. And that's the thing about it that people don't really understand is that they're craving truth. They're craving the word and craving people just to be real with them and understand, tell me the truth. Like, don't give me the fluff stuff. Don't give me the cliche things, whatever. Like, kind of tell me the truth and understand it. And I do. And I do that unapologetically, in a sense, because it's what God has given me. I share my testimony with my students. I talk to them about everything that I've been through. I talk to them about what God has done for me, what God has done for them. I've actually ministered to a kid, actually it was last year. I actually ministered to him and he gave his life to Christ in my classroom. And it was something that was so organic. And, the funny thing is that he had these different questions. I was just answering questions. He was trying to figure out, he asked me, how would I know he's real? How do I know? And I said, honestly, he's going to reveal himself to you. And lo and behold, God was revealing himself to this young man through me. Because he said when he gave his life to Christ, he said the reason why he gave it, not because it was some type of aha moment, but it was the fact that I took my time out of my schedule when I got students coming in from another period, and I took my time to really just continue to sit with him and answer his questions and things like that. That's what struck him, because I didn't know that. I didn't know what was going to do it, but he said that's what struck a chord with him. And so for me, I've ministered to kids, I've ministered to adults, really anyone. And so for me, yes, I would like to be, ordained, because just to have that official, officialness, so to speak, but I don't need it. Because ultimately I minister wherever God has me to whomever He has me in front of.
That's beautiful. I am so glad you guys decided to be my guests. I really appreciate that. If people want to reach out to you or find you, how would they do that?
Yes, so our primary ministry right now is through Trinity, through our nonprofit. Trinity is the baby that God conceived in us, and it's how we serve our community right now. So our website is www.trinityyouth.org. While we primarily serve youth, we also hold space for folks to share prayer requests and things like that. We're open to praying for anyone. There is a link in our contact us section on our website. But we know that God has given us a special gift to connect with youth. And that's certainly our passion and where we want to continue to serve. So we ask that if there's anyone who has a child between the ages of 11 and 17, if they're interested in tennis or coaching services, we offer a variety of programs that are designed to help youth become the best version of themselves. But tennis is certainly one of the aspects that we focus on primarily to channel that through. So we ask you guys just to check us out at Trinity Youth Org on social media and visit us at our website, www.trinityyouth.org.
One Y.
One way. Okay. And that's in Virginia, correct?
Yes.
Mhm.
All of our programs are
Central
located-
Virginia?
Yes, all of our programs are located in Chesterfield County, Virginia.
Fantastic. Okay. Thank you again for hanging out with me and letting me know all the beautiful things that you guys have been through and how you come out better on the other side.
Thank you so much for giving us this space. It's been beautiful.
I very seldom recommend products unless I like them, I use them, and I agree with them. So when I tell you that this lint-free, no tree, 100% bamboo, biodegradable tissue is strong, 3-ply, and beautiful, I'm trying to tell you Leafy is it. I will leave my coupon code in the bottom of the description. It's DocG25.